There is no red, white, or blue in this country. The only color that matters is green because we live in the United Corporations of America. Greetings, Jordan Sheridan live, Status Coup. Just a crazy amount of breaking news. I mean, on a variety of topics, but specifically when it comes to Donald Trump's ICE Gestapo prison that we've been extensively covering in the Everglades, known as Alligator Alcatraz. We broke a story this morning that we did a video on. I'll get to that in a minute. But now there is more breaking news related to, frankly, what I think could only be described as a torture camp that is happening in America under the Trump regime, under the Florida government, Governor DeSantis, in which I don't think it's an if at this point. I just think it's when we're going to start seeing immigrants dying in this prison. Please smash the like button. Our reporter, Ashley Bishop, will be joining in just a few minutes. She was just getting off the phone with a source. But this is serious breaking news. I'm going to kind of take you behind the scenes of some of the reporting we've been doing because we were up, Ashley and I were up last night till about 11:30, trying to confirm whether a prisoner had died. Fortunately, it seems like he has not died, but the circumstances around his medical emergency kind of show you how dire things are. So please smash that like button. Please share this live stream so we can get it out to more people. Let me share this. Hold on the Twitter machine. All right. So for those of you that didn't see this morning, we broke a story. We exclusively obtained audio of a call between a ICE prisoner and his girlfriend. I don't know the identity of the ICE prisoner or his girlfriend. I know that he's a prisoner in Alligator Alcatraz. I know he has been in Alligator Alcatraz for over 30 days. And the call, which we posted the full video this morning. You could watch that video. We'll probably play it again a little bit later. But in the call, he described several things. One, he described a couple incidences of guards at the prison beating prisoners, including prisoners who were handcuffed, jumping prisoners while they were handcuffed, dragging prisoners. He also talked about groping that was going on, that guards were touching prisoners in the groin, in the asses, to try and confiscate food that prisoners have felt violated. And he also talked about an incident where a prisoner had fainted, and guards basically didn't do anything, didn't do anything to check on him. I want to play that part. It's a short snippet, but I want to play that part so you know the context where this prisoner, the call that we obtained, is describing to his girlfriend another prisoner who had fainted and guards basically not reacting. If we could play that, Colin.
So much abuse, too much abuse. Yesterday in the dining hall, there was so much abuse. They were handcuffed. They stepped on his head. About 6 guards jumped on him. They hit us. They kicked us. So much abuse, too much abuse. So much abuse that we're enduring here in Alligator. Too much abuse. So much abuse here, I can't take it anymore. Where are the human resources? It's unbearable here. Now in another area, they fell to the floor. I think they fainted. I don't know. They don't even know how to act because they don't know how to revive someone. They don't know if the person died or not. We're very nervous because we don't know where we are. My love, do you want me to give this to a journalist? Give it to them because this has to come out one way or another because they're going to kill us here little by little. No one pays attention to us. I've been here for 30 days seeing injustice and mistreatment. It doesn't stop. Look.
They're going to kill us. So I want to kind of take you behind the scenes. And again, Ashley will be joining us in a few minutes. But We were hearing from sources because Ashley was on the ground with John at Alligator Alcatraz a few weeks ago. We're trying to go back. We need to grow our funding. Hint, hint, sign up today. StatusCoup.com/join. Become a member for as low as $5 a month. That's the only way we could fund our on the ground and investigative reporting. We need more people to sign up as paid members for as low as 16 cents a day. But Ashley was talking to sources. I was talking to sources that I've developed. And we believed that the person on that tape that the prisoner was referring to, who had fainted and received no medical care, we believed he had died. So we were scouring to confirm what was his condition. I want to show you some emails that I had sent to the Florida Division of Emergency Management. That's basically Florida's version of FEMA. Every state has their own FEMA. So I had reached out because I was told this prisoner's name. And I had reached out saying, I'm hearing that this prisoner fainted, that this prisoner might have died, and giving them requests for comment. Again, I didn't report it because you don't report that unless you could confirm somebody has died. So I want to show you the email trail so you'll see how shady what's going on there is, and how if somebody dies or if multiple prisoners die, it's very, very hard, very, very hard to even know because there's no transparency. No, Colin, that's fine if you didn't. So to be clear, the tape that we got of the prisoner talking to his girlfriend on the phone, where he's begging for help, he's begging her to get this out to the media. He's describing prisoners being jumped, attacked by guards. He's describing guards groping them in their groins, their butts. He is describing another prisoner fainting and guards doing nothing to relieve him, saying, I don't know if he died. I caught wind of who we thought that this prisoner was, and I reached out to the Florida FEMA, who is in charge of this ICE Gestapo camp. Let me show you the emails here. Let's start with the first one. So I won't read the whole thing, but this is what I sent them. Hey, it's Jordan Sheridan with Status Coup. I obtained a phone call between a prisoner at Alligator Alcatraz and his girlfriend, in which he describes in alarming fashion several instances of guards beating prisoners, guards groping prisoners in the groin and butt, and an incident where a prisoner fainted but guards delayed care. A source tells me this prisoner's name is Luis Valdez, and he suffered a heart attack. Then I left quotes of what the prisoner told his girlfriend, which you could hear in the audio call, which we posted earlier. The original version of the audio is in Spanish. We hired a translator because I don't want to use AI, which often gets words wrong. So we hired a translator. It was not cheap to translate it from Spanish to English. I'll skip over that part because it's already we already posted the video earlier. So my questions: is there a prisoner by the name of Luis Valdez, and did he recently suffer a medical episode in which he was taken to the hospital? If so, what is his status now? Number two, how do you respond to the accounts of this prisoner? Thus far, the only response Florida officials from FDEM have given is to simply say the prisoners are making it up. Is this prisoner making up several instances where guards jumped and assaulted prisoners? 3, why would guards be touching prisoners in the groin or ass looking for food? Do these guards receive any training, and is this part of the training? And I gave my deadline. All right. Not surprisingly, here was the response from basically Florida's FEMA. I know it's a little tiny, but that's just how it is on the email, so I'll read it to you. This was from Florida Division of Emergency Management, who's in control of Alligator Alcatraz. These false claims have been repeatedly debunked. No guards are mistreating detainees. Officers are highly trained and follow all federal and state detention protocols. The facility is fully operational and meets all federal standards. Detainees have uninterrupted access to drinking water, showers, and clean sanitary conditions. Any suggestion otherwise is deliberately misleading. Okay. I know all that's bullshit. You know all that's bullshit. There's been ample reports showing it's bullshit. Ashley also did a video yesterday where a guard blew the whistle on how bad the conditions are. So obviously they're lying. We expect nothing less from Ron DeSantis's government in Florida, and at this point, any Republican around the country. But notice something in that email. And you got to be there. If you're a good journalist, which I think I am, you got to pick up on things. Notice that spokesperson did not answer my questions about the specific prisoner who, in the audio recording we have, a prisoner is talking about another prisoner who fainted, who I was hearing and Ashley was hearing might have died after fainting. Who I was hearing had a heart attack. Who I was hearing had a heart attack after complaining to the prison staff and begging for medical help for days and being denied medical help. I didn't report it because I couldn't confirm it. But she did not respond. She dodged my question on that particular prisoner. So here's my response. You did not answer me on Luis Valdez. One more time. Is there a prisoner by the name of Luis Valdez? And did he recently suffer a medical episode in which he was taken to the hospital? If so, what is his status now? So very clear. Hey, at this point, I think the guy died. And I'm trying to break that story, which obviously would be huge. And they're dodging. The head of Florida Division of Emergency Management, for the second time, dodges, will not answer me. And how does she respond? I'm connecting you with ICE, who can assist you with your questions. Colin, before Ashley comes on, what does that tell you when Florida Division of Emergency Management, who they say they're in charge of this facility, will not respond to journalists on a prisoner fainting? Will not answer, was he brought to the hospital? Will not answer, there's Colin's cat. Will not answer, was he brought to the hospital? What is his condition? Kind of leads you to, and then says, hey, I'm actually going to send you to ICE, which you might as well send me to Siberia because ICE isn't going to respond. Kind of makes you think something very shady, possibly tragic is going on that they're trying to conceal.
Yeah, especially that like knee-jerk response that you had gotten of like, we already debunked this, almost like they're responding to some random person. And it's very telling. And also, this is something we've already, if you guys have watched any of our other interviews of people who've been on the ground, including lawyers over in Alligator Alcatraz, this is literally what they do is you will talk to a department to get answers. They'll send you to ICE. ICE will say, we don't handle that. You need to go to this department in Florida. And then Florida will be like, no, that's Homeland Security. And it's an infinite loop, essentially, that it's just, that's part of their tactic that
it's the equivalent of calling the healthcare company and being bounced around to 17 different people. Okay, so to be clear, they're not answering. And then, as Ashley and I are trying to confirm whether this prisoner, by the way, it's often a game of telephone, so I was given the name wrong. His actual name is Luis Velasquez. I said Luis Valdez, I think. So I had the name a little bit wrong because it was given to me wrong because it's just a game of telephone between sources. But either way, they wouldn't respond. So then last night, we start to see from Spanish language media outlets on social media video surfacing of the prisoner who fainted. We see videos from his, I guess, girlfriend and his sister tearfully doing social media videos announcing that he had died. Major. Announcing that this prisoner who had fainted had died. I'm going to play some of it. It's in Spanish, so you're not going to understand it, but I want to play it so you could see this is his partner, his romantic partner, and his sister thinking that their loved one had died in Alligator Alcatraz. I'll play a little bit. You're not going to understand it, but just so you could see what his family was going through.
Susana Navaja, actual pareja del difunto Luis Manuel Rivas Velázquez, el día de ayer murió por negligencia del gobierno de los Estados Unidos. Pidió atención médica. Estaba muy mal, tenía fiebre, llagas y dolor de pecho. Y no se la dieron. Lo dejaron morir ahí. Él había firmado su deportación para que se fuera a Venezuela, no lo sacaban, no lo enviaban, no nada. Lo dejaron morir ahí como su ayuda de que lo puedan.
Velázquez, mejor conocido como Luis Frío. Estoy haciendo este video para informar que el día de ayer mi hermano falleció en la cárcel de Alligator Alcatraz.
Joining me now, the great Ashley Bishop, who was working with me till I think like 11:30 last night, trying to confirm whether this prisoner had died. But I was just taking the audience through the sequence, including my emails to Florida Division of Emergency Management, and then ICE, who was dodging on this particular prisoner. So I want to read the translation because we hired a translator yesterday to help us with a call of a prisoner translating a prisoner basically telling his girlfriend they're being tortured. So we had somebody translate that from Spanish to English, and she also translated this video. Again, we're thinking this prisoner died last night. We didn't report it because we couldn't confirm it. But I want to read the translation so the audience knows his loved one, his partner, and his sister thought he had died, basically because there's no transparency from this prison. There's no transparency from the Florida state government who's controlling this. There's certainly no transparency from the Trump administration, ICE. So a lot of the time, the prisoners, the family doesn't even know if their loved ones are in Alligator Alcatraz or another ICE prison. They don't know if they've been transferred. And in this case, they don't know if they have died. All they are going on is hearing from other people, like this game of telephone. He fainted, he collapsed, he had a heart attack, not hearing from him, not have any communication from the prison. So they assume the worst. Colin, if you could read the translation from that video that we just showed that was in Spanish, so you could hear what they were saying, if we could start. So this is from his partner, his romantic partner. This message is about the deceased Luis Manuel. So the world knows that yesterday he died due to the negligence of the United States government. He asked for a medical attention. He was very sick, had fevers, sores, and chest pain, and they didn't give it to him. They let him die there. He had signed his deportation papers to be sent back to Venezuela, but they didn't take them out, didn't send him, nothing. They let him die there like a dog. We need help. We need his body to be transferred. It's not fair that he died like this in this way. They didn't give him medical attention. They didn't let him bathe. He would call us and tell us they hadn't eaten, nothing. Please help us. Please share this. We need your help. We need this to reach many people because many more could keep dying there, and it already happened to us. We don't want this to keep happening to others. We need your help so he could be transferred to Venezuela so his family could give him their final goodbye. Please help. So that was the loved one, his partner. Now I want to read what his sister said. Again, this is late last night. They thought he died because they're not getting any communication, and they're, when there is no transparency, it just becomes this game of telephone. Prisoners don't even know because they're just seeing someone fainting. As in the call that we aired earlier, the prisoner who was talking to his girlfriend told his girlfriend, this person fainted. The guards did nothing. I don't know if he died or not. So the prisoners don't know if he died. So they're then communicating that to their spouses on the outside, and the spouses are then communicating. And before you know it, there's rumors going around somebody died because there's no transparency. So let me read from his sister what she said. I am Ada Velasquez, the sister of Luis Manuel Rivas Velasquez, better known as Luis Frio. I'm making this video to inform you that yesterday my brother died in the Alligator Alcatraz detention center. My brother had been detained for days, waiting to be deported. I am making this video to ask for your help so that my brother's body can be deported to our country and so that justice is served. All the people there are in a dire situation. They're not given food. And when they are, it's only once a day, a frozen sandwich. They are sick. My brother fell ill. Everyone there has COVID inside. That's something Ashley and I have heard from other folks. I mean, obviously we can't confirm it, but it would make sense that COVID would spread when among the conditions that are being described there. Yesterday, he asked for medical assistance and they denied it to him. Please, people, the public, the Venezuelan government, we ask for Please, people, the public, the Venezuelan government, we ask for help so that my brother's body could be returned to our country and so that there is justice. Okay, so bottom line, there was, wrong reports online that he died. We were trying to chase it down. Ashley, a lot of today was trying to confirm whether he died or not. We were hearing conflicting reports that he's in the hospital and still alive. But we then learned, probably like an hour ago, that he's actually alive, and his partner and sister wrongly assumed he was dead because of everything we've just told you, because of this game of telephone. And essentially, the way this prison has been set up is so that loved ones, the media, politicians have no idea. They don't as to who the prisoners are, what their status is, if and when they're being deported. So before I move on, Ashley, I know you're working on a story that we're going to publish on Substack, but is there anything I should add as far as your reporting on basically why they wrongly assumed he was dead? We should point out that this prisoner did repeatedly ask for medical help because he was experiencing chest pains, among other things, and he was denied.
Yeah, I mean, as far as why they believed him to be dead, I mean, I just spoke with his attorney very briefly, and his attorney had essentially said that like ICE had not reached out. So it's my understanding that they believed him to be dead for 24 hours. Like it was like an entire day that they thought that, his partner and his sister both thought that he was dead, that he had passed away in ICE custody. So, I mean, I would just ask people to think about that for a minute, thinking that your loved one is dead for 24 hours. And I'm very happy for them that he's not, but that's an entire day. They released statements. They were both, crying in their statements. I mean, that is horrific. All because ICE did not reach out to them to explain that he had had a medical event and was in the hospital. They could have put an end to that immediately. I just find that so horrific, and I just feel horrible for them. So my understanding is that, again, as you detailed for everyone, he had a medical event in one of the temps. So his attorney had released a statement this afternoon, so not that long ago, saying that he had passed out in tent 5 of the facility. And yeah, people saw, some of the other people detained in there saw. Somehow the information made its way back to the family, to his sister and his partner. All they knew was that he had fainted. He had asked for medical attention before that. After he fainted, the guards basically delayed medical attention, so they rightfully assumed that he had died. They saw him leave. There was people may have seen him come back and then leave again. I don't know if that's true. But, he, again, had a medical event. He left. People thought that he had passed. So again, that information made its way back to the family, and the family had nothing else to go on because ICE didn't reach out to them.
Right.
ICE didn't reach out to them. I have been talking to his sister intermittently. I think I will probably get more information from her later, but it's unclear to me at this point who she reached out to, how the information, exactly how it got back to her and the family. That I couldn't say any more about that. But my understanding is it's one of the other detainees, and potentially the audio that we released is part of what reached them. And they had, again, nothing else to go on. So they just assumed that he had passed.
I want to replay the video. I want to replay this part of the audio for people that came to this late, because I think it's important. Colin, if we could replay just that first minute where it's reference to the person fainting.
So much abuse, too much abuse. Yesterday in the dining hall, there was so much abuse. They were handcuffed. They stepped on his head. About 6 guards jumped on him. They hit us. They kicked us. So much abuse, too much abuse. So much abuse that we're enduring here in Alligator. Too much abuse. So much abuse here, I can't take it anymore. Where are the human resources? It's unbearable here. Now in another area, they fell to the floor. I think they fainted. I don't know. They don't even know how to act because they don't know how to revive someone. They don't know if the person died or not. We're very nervous because we don't know where we are. My love, do you want me to give this to a journalist? Give it to them because this has to come out one way or another because they're going to kill us here little by little. No one pays attention to us. I've been here for 30 days seeing injustice and mistreatment. It doesn't stop.
Okay, so with the disclaimer, because I think it's important when you don't know something 100% to just say, we don't know 100%, but based on the timing of that phone call, which was 2 nights ago, this phone call between, this was a Cuban prisoner with his girlfriend. It was around 8 o'clock at night, I was told. And when this person fainted, I think I'm 95% sure the person that fainted that's being referred to there is this Luis Velasquez, who basically, I don't know what happened, if he fainted, if he had a heart attack. We'll have to wait for that. But I'm pretty sure that's who he was talking about because he's referring to the guards basically didn't do anything. They don't know what to do because the guards aren't medically trained. They're not EMS. So I'm pretty sure we have, at least on that audio, and it was actually happening around that time. So he's not describing something that happened like yesterday morning. He's describing something that was happening while he was on the phone. And why all this is important, as Ashley referenced, I don't know, about an hour or so ago, they released, his attorneys released a press release explaining not just what happened with him, but also that there's a serious outbreak in the jail. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's COVID. I don't know if it's something else. There's a lot of sick prisoners, and we know this based on what their spouses have said. I'm going to read the whole statement here. I don't know how zoomed in you could go with that, Colin. It's a statement in that tweet. There we go. Florida covering up contagious disease outbreak at Alligator Alcatraz as detainee suffers health emergency, disappears for 48 hours. Detainees at Alligator Alcatraz are being denied medical attention as an outbreak of a serious illness spreads through the facility. For 48 hours, one detainee, Venezuelan Luis Manuel Rivas Velasquez, which is the same person that the Florida Division of Emergency Management would not answer me on to 2 emails and then tried to bounce me off to ICE, who also didn't answer me, was held incommunicado from his family after collapsing in tent 5 of the facility and suffering a serious health emergency. Mr. Velasquez, who's 38 years old and was previously in good health, found himself unable to breathe. He repeatedly requested medical assistance from guards at the facility, but his requests for assistance were denied, with one guard telling him, "I can't help you." Mr. Rivas Velasquez was taken to Kendall Hospital, where he was told he was suffering from a, quote, respiratory infection. Well, COVID is a respiratory infection. Despite having trouble. And by the way, if you have COVID and you're stuck in a fucking Gestapo prison that at some points can feel like 80 degrees inside, that's going to act, whether it's COVID, the flu, or anything else, that's not exactly good when you're sick like that.
No.
Despite having trouble breathing, Velasquez was handcuffed tightly to his hospital bed while guards with guns mocked him and spoke to one another about the need to be, quote, tough on him. Based on reports from fellow detainees who saw Velasquez lose consciousness and became non-responsive, Velasquez's family feared he had died. On Thursday, Velasquez was finally able to contact his family and counsel. He told his attorneys that upon being returned to Alligator Alcatraz, officials took the medical records from his hospital visit and refused to return them to him. Other relatives of current detainees confirmed that sickness is currently rampant at the facility. So before I go any further, Ashley, we're not doctors. Sounds like he was brought to the hospital for about 5 minutes with, who knows? I don't know what the respiratory illness is. Could be COVID, could be the flu, pneumonia. I don't know. I don't know what's spreading in that hospital. We also know they're being eaten up by fucking mosquitoes, and some mosquitoes carry disease. So sure seems like he probably should not have been returned to the prison. It seems in less than 24 hours.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know. It's crazy. And also, just that they say he was at the hospital and officials took his medical records and would not give them back to him. Like, That is crazy. Clearly, they are trying to, I mean, cover up an outbreak of something. I mean, you can, guessing that it might be COVID is not a bad guess, given that, like you said, they're in close quarters and COVID is a respiratory infection. It would just make the most sense. It is highly infectious. I just I cannot believe that people are. I mean, unfortunately I can at this point. I guess I shouldn't say I can't believe. I can believe that this is happening in this facility. It's just horrible. It's horrible, and their attorneys do say something to the effect of, again, that the state of Florida is covering up a serious outbreak of disease inside the camp and accusing them of crimes of dystopic proportions within the camp, and suggesting that Florida is doing everything that they can to keep their conduct in the dark, even if people die.
And also, can we add, you don't have to be a fucking doctor for this. So it rains a lot there. The camp is basically, I mean, I would say 40% outside, 60% inside. Well, when it rains a lot and there's flooding inside the tents, it creates mold.
Yes.
So I'm allergic to mold. I don't know about anybody else. So when you're already hot, when you're not being fed enough, when you're not getting enough water, when you're being eaten alive by mosquitoes, when you're stressed because they don't have clocks, so the prisoners don't even know if it's day or night, they're getting no sunlight, then add in possible mold, sanitary conditions are awful. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of shit fucking spread like wildfire around here. So I don't know. I mean, it's possible. I'm not trying to be, it's possible people have died already and we don't know about it. It's possible. I won't be dramatic, but that is possible. I want to read the rest of this because it kind of gets worse. On Thursday, Velasquez made the following statement. We are all sick in this jail. Some are worse than others. It is an emergency. They are treating us like dogs, like animals. People are suffering from lack of medicine. We have heard that they've been depriving prisoners of medicine. Somebody needs to do something to help us. Velasquez still struggled to breathe as he made this statement. Soon after he appealed for help, the phone call was abruptly cut off. Shocking. His sister, Ada, who we played some of her video and read you her statement, when she thought he was dead, she said, quote, my brother is not in good health, and according to the testimonies we have received, 80% of the people detained there are not either. This is not an isolated situation. It's a humanitarian emergency. I urgently request the collaboration of those who could help, organizations, media outlets, authorities, to protect the life of my brother and everyone else there. The responsible entities must assume their duty and not allow this situation to continue. My brother does not deserve to be treated like an animal, nor to live in conditions that violate his dignity and health. What is happening is unacceptable, and he must receive immediate action. Mr. Rivas pro bono attorneys said, quote, crimes of historic proportions are taking place at the Alligator Alcatraz internment camp. Mr. Velasquez's disappearance and potential near-death experience in the custody of DHS and state of Florida must be a wake-up call for all Americans. None of us can claim ignorance. Will we allow crimes like this to be committed by the government in our own backyard? This sadistic human experiment must be immediately shut down. All those responsible for creating deliberately inhumane conditions must be criminally investigated and prosecuted to the fullest of the law. We will get to the shutting it down part because there is breaking news on that. A judge has issued an order, at least not shutting it down, but halting any new construction. I'll read that in a minute. But I also want to make a point. And by the way, folks, for those who came late, I'm taking off the glasses so you can see my bags. We need your help. We had to pay a translator yesterday. That was not cheap to translate the Spanish to English. Happy to do it. We didn't want to rely on AI, which is not reliable to accurately translate any language. But we also want to go back to Alligator Alcatraz. We've kind of been monitoring it because we don't want to send Ashley and John back there if there's not enough going on. Obviously, they can't parachute into the prison, which would be awesome. But we want to send them back when it warrants sending them back. I think things are about to pick up. It's incredibly expensive. The last trip cost us between $3,000 and $4,000. So if you want us to continue, we're doing our best from afar. It's obviously easier to cover these things, build more sources, show you what's going on from there. So if you're not yet a paid member, what are you doing, folks? StatusCoup.com/join. Join us for as low as 16 cents a day. That's $5 a month. I am not beyond begging. I will beg you, the people. We need your help. StatusCoup.com/join. Ashley and I were up. When did we get on the call last night? 10 o'clock?
Thereabouts.
And
Something like that.
we were working on it, thinking that this person had died and trying to confirm it till about 11:30 last night. So if we're willing to do it, we just meet us a quarter of the way. $5 to $10 a month is all we ask. StatusCoup.com/join. I'll shout you out as you sign up. I also want to point out, it's not only that the family members don't know what are going on to the point of thinking their loved ones are dead. All of this MAGA, because I know we got some MAGA who are loving this in the chat there, was all about, well, go back to your country. You broke the law. Self-deport. Okay. Well, under that mindset, which I don't agree with, but that's neither here or there. Under that mindset, shouldn't the governments that MAGA says that these folks need to go back to, shouldn't the governments be kept informed if their citizens, because this is all about citizenship, right? If their citizens are collapsing in a U.S. black ops prison, basically, shouldn't the governments? Because I could tell you, the translator that we used has connections to the Venezuelan government. She reached out to the Venezuelan government last night. They had no idea. They had no idea this person was in Alligator Alcatraz. They had no idea that he collapsed. Had no idea that. Clueless. So it's not only that ICE, the Florida government, Trump, his administration are keeping the actual prisoners' families in the dark. They are keeping the governments that they are claiming these people belong to in the dark. So Venezuela or Cuba or name your country where a lot of these folks come from. They don't know if their citizens are in these prisons or if they are possibly dead. So sure seems to me the definition of kind of a black ops prison, even though we know of this prison, we have no idea what's going on there. We don't fully know because there was a list that the Miami Herald got of prisoners there. That was weeks ago. We don't know how many new prisoners are there. We don't know which ones have been transferred out because Ashley broke a few weeks ago that they were relocating prisoners because of, shocker, floods. So this is all basically just the wild, wild west in the Everglades. And August 7th, the worst of Florida's hurricane season is about to hit in 2-3 weeks. So you have a potential COVID outbreak or whatever it is. You have prisoners and their spouses saying almost everyone's sick. It's over 100 degrees with the heat index outside the camp. We covered, because we also paid a freelancer to go down and cover 2 recent events. Able-bodied people are fainting. Like 20-somethings are fainting outside. So imagine how bad is it for the people inside? And the devil's advocate, well, Jordan, it's a prison. It's not a 5-star camp. Well, a 5-star resort. Well, I don't know if you know this, MAGA. Even in U.S. prisons with U.S. citizens, part of the warden's, part of the guard's responsibility is the health of the prisoners. Okay, you want to argue about conditions, fine, but it is your job to keep the prisoners safe, to keep them alive. So that's for U.S. citizens too. It's certainly for undocumented immigrants too. So at the end of the day, I think this is only going to get worse. I think it's very likely that there is a mass outbreak of something inside there. I think it's very likely, frankly, that people are being tortured there. We're going to play the full audio if you haven't heard it yet. We have about a 5.5-minute audio describing guards attacking prisoners, guards groping prisoners. People are going to die, whether it's through the weather, whether it's through the assault, whether it's through the outbreaks that are moving on. For what? For what? So we could have a culture war in America? So that a bunch of old white Fox News viewers could get their chuckles? So that people could get Alligator Alcatraz hats and beer koozies? Like, this is really what we think should be happening. By the way, as your king, Donald Trump, cuts your Medicaid, as your king, Donald Trump, gives massive tax breaks to the wealthy and corporations. I mean, I'm not standing for the Democratic Party, but let's call a spade a spade. Trump had just, and the Republican Party just delivered the largest upward redistribution of wealth in American history. And that's before the breaking news today that a federal judge, let me read this and get your thoughts, Ashley. A federal judge has ordered a temporary halt to construction at Alligator Alcatraz. It's kind of a partial victory. It's not shutting down the facility. A federal judge on Thursday ordered a temporary halt to construction at an immigration detention center built in the middle of the Everglades and dubbed Alligator Alcatraz, as attorneys argue whether it violates environmental laws. The facility can continue to operate and hold detainees for ICE, but workers will be barred from adding any new filing, paving, or infrastructure for 14 days. District Judge Kathleen Williams issued the ruling during a hearing and said she will issue a written order late Thursday. Environmental groups and the Miccosukee tribe have asked Williams to issue a preliminary injunction to halt operations and further construction. The suit claims the project threatens environmentally sensitive wetlands that are home to protected plants and animals and would reverse billions of dollars worth of environmental restoration. Plaintiffs presented witnesses Wednesday and Thursday in support of the injunction, while attorneys for the state and federal government were scheduled to present next week. This kind of reminds me a little bit of Standing Rock, which 10 years later is still in court to try and shut down the Dakota Access Pipeline, if you could believe that. It's still the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe and its environmental groups are still in court. It has been delayed and appealed for a decade. But to be clear, in the case of Standing Rock, there was not an environmental impact study done, which by law needs to be done for major infrastructure projects like something like the Dakota Access Pipeline. The pipeline company got around it by doing an environmental assessment, which is totally inadequate. In this case, there wasn't even that. There wasn't an environmental impact study. There wasn't an environmental assessment. There was nothing. They put this together in 8 days. Clearly, there needs to be an environmental impact study and a public comment period because it's in the Everglades. 8 million people get their water in Florida from the Everglades. There's endangered species, precious species. You work down there, so you could explain it better than me. I mean, this is a marine sanctuary, basically. I don't know why the judge didn't just temporarily shut it down. You know, corporations run America. But I guess it's promising that they can't build new construction, although this is the Trump regime. This is the DeSantis regime. So the old days of just assuming they're going to follow a judge order, that goes out the window too. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you explained a lot of that really well. I guess, as to whether or not they're going to listen, I mean, who knows? Who knows? I know that as of yesterday, the last couple of days, I mean, they were still trucking, fill trucks were still coming in, which means that they had some kind of expectation of continuing to fill up all of this land with concrete. So I mean, whether or not they listen to that, that's anybody's guess. We will find out. But they certainly, seem to be operating, at least as of a couple of days ago, under the assumption that they will continue, whether legally, illegally, they will continue filling in that land, continue developing on it. So, I mean, who knows? It's just like the sheer fact of it existing there is, I couldn't think of a worse place for a facility like that to be. I mean, it's just like setting aside the environmental impact of the whole thing, which clearly, as you said, nothing was done. Nothing was done. There have been no assessments, no environmental impact studies done. So even just setting that aside, like the terrain makes it such an inefficient place to have a facility. It's so costly. You're, as we've said here, like you're trucking in water, you're trucking out wastewater. You're filling up in the land, which means necessarily that it will flood, because usually, like in an area like this, there's a lot of rain. Obviously, there will be hurricane season, all of that stuff. a lot of that water ends up, like, it goes into the ground. It seeps into the ground. If you cover that and prevent that from happening, it's going to pool where you have prevented it from seeping into the ground. So it's like there are all these different things that make it just such a terrible place to have a facility, and you're wasting so much money on it. You're wasting so much money on contractors that are bringing the water in, contractors that are bringing the wastewater back to Broward County to be treated. I mean, all of that stuff. You're paying contractors to fill the area, so just contractors that are responsible for filling the area with concrete. I mean, it's insane. And we're talking about this again at a time where the government has made the entire federal government is supposed to be reducing waste, right? Like that is the whole their whole thing right now: reducing government waste, reducing government inefficiency, all of that. This could not be a better model or a better example of government waste and inefficiency. I can't think of anything better. All in the name of, detaining people who came here to have a better life, most of whom don't have criminal records. I mean, it's crazy. And it's not just that. It is a money grab, right? Like, obviously, racism is part of it. Cruelty is part of it. But it's also money. Holding people there, like we were told it's supposed to be a temporary facility. It would seem that that is not the goal. I mean, people have been there beyond the 14 days that they're supposed to be there in a temporary facility. They're keeping people.
The recording we have of the prisoner talking to his girlfriend, he says he's been there for over 30 days.
Yeah, I mean, it opened in the beginning of July. We know that roughly 100 people have been deported, or at least taken out of the facility. I'm not even going to say deported. 100 people have been removed from that facility. Some people have been moved to Chrome. But I mean, we know that there's 900 plus people there. The exact number, as you said earlier, we don't know. But there's hundreds of people there that are just there permanently. And that seems like, permanent incarceration is the point, because they make money from these things. We know that. We know that Geo Group and Core Civic, which run facilities, immigration detention facilities in New Jersey, make millions of dollars off of this. And that's what they're trying to do in Florida. It is a cash grab and a land grab. And they're just using innocent people to fill their so-called temporary prison.
And I was about to say, you touched on it. Certainly not inefficient for the contractors who paid off DeSantis and other Florida officials. They donated to the Florida Republicans, and now they're getting massive contracts for a completely unnecessary fucking Gestapo prison that is wildly inefficient. We showed footage of them hauling in big ass water tanks because they have no running water. There's no plumbing built into this. It's just insane. Colin, did you have time to add any clips from our last event that we covered?
Yes, I got 2 clips loaded up from what the event Dave had covered.
Yeah, let's play that so you could see. This is just a week ago there, as people, there was faith leaders there holding a vigil, and others describing, because there's also an ongoing hunger strike inside the prison as people seemingly are sick. Prisoners are sick there.
Yeah.
Reports of people being punished outside. We've heard some things about 4x4 boxes, people outside. Is there any truth to any of that, or is it?
Yeah.
How can we confirm that?
So, we were able to speak to a family member who has a loved one here in detention. And, he was protesting the horrible conditions of the site. I believe he was threatening to go on hunger strike. And as a result, he was placed in a box, locked inside that box, put outside in the elements from about 3 p.m. till about 7 p.m. or so. While, it's very hot, there's a ton of mosquitoes out here, being placed in a box. Imagine it's torture. And the person in detention, we're actually able to patch him through after he was, out of the box, with Tim Padgett, who's a reporter with NPR, WLRN, the South Florida affiliate, and he was able to tell this story himself to Tim Padgett.
Wow, that's fascinating. Is there any way to determine what's going on with hunger strike folks? Like, how many people are striking, and what's the status of their health?
Yeah, it's difficult to get a clear picture because obviously, lawyers have not been let in here. That's why the ACLU is currently in a lawsuit against this place. From speaking to family members that have people in detention here, know that at least 12 people or so are in hunger strike. This is about 12th day that they're in hunger strike. The problem is that there's been a larger than average number of hospitalizations, and we know this because we're seeing the ambulances going in and out, over a dozen this weekend alone, and one while the vigil was happening. I mean, we saw it, we took video of it. And also they've been transferring people that are participating in this hunger strike to other detention facilities, I believe as a way of breaking up the strike. But I do know that at least 12 people engaged in this protest.
So that's Tomas. He's with an immigration rights group. He's been very involved with this. And by my name, by my counting, assuming they're still prisoners on the hunger strike, probably is close to 20 days at this point. Many of the prisoners have been on a hunger strike. Honestly, they don't even need to go on a strike because they're barely being fed anyway. So it's, obviously it's their choice, but they're barely being fed as it is. I want to replay for those of you who haven't had a chance to watch the video this morning. And please, just if you have watched it or after you listen to this, watch the full video earlier. We want to get this out to more people. And please support us. You might not realize it, to continue covering these events, even not sending Ashley back. We're paying for a cameraman to drive 3 hours from Tampa down there. Got to pay him, his gas. We paid for a translator yesterday to translate a lot of this audio for you. So we're investing the money to stay on this story, even when we can't be there full time. But we need your support to pay everybody and to go back there. Money don't grow on trees. We are not funded by ICE, United Healthcare, Pfizer, the Sackler family, Goldman Sachs, Big Tech, Facebook, Elon, all the rest of the corporate criminals. Our funding comes from you. So please support us. StatusCoup.com/join. While we've been live, thank you. New member Eileen signed up, Michael and Kemp. We need a lot more, folks. And I got to go soon to take care of my kitties. So please sign up. It's up to you. If you'd rather be in an information dark hole, not have actual living, breathing, independent journalists staying on this. I mean, to their credit, the Miami Herald and a couple others have done good work on this.
They've done really good work on this.
But they're not us. They're not rabble-rousers, and they're not going to do it the way we're going to do it. And most mainstream outlets, their stories tend to get a little watered down because of their legal departments and whatnot, just based on my experience. So please, if you want, if you're cool with the way it is and you don't care if we go back there, fine. But if you want us to stay on this, there's other stories we want to go travel for. We need your help. StatusCoup.com/join. Please. It's only $5 to $10 a month is all I'm asking. I'm going to play the whole clip. It's about 5 minutes. So you could hear the prisoner who was talking to his girlfriend, which we obtained the audio exclusively. He's not only talking about people fainting. He's talking about guards beating them while they're handcuffed. He's talking about guards groping them, touching their groins, their behinds, looking to confiscate food. Basically, they're talking about being tortured. And he's warning that people are going to die soon. Let's play it.
Wow. Mucho abuso. Demasiado abuso. Ahí en el comedor se formó mucho abuso. Con esposados, le pisaron la cabeza, le cayeron como 6 guardias presionados, nos empujaron, nos patearon.
So much abuse. Too much abuse. Yesterday in the dining hall, there was so much abuse. They were handcuffed. They stepped on his head. About 6 guards jumped on him. They hit us. They kicked us. So much abuse. Too much abuse. So much abuse that we're enduring here in Alligator. Too much abuse. So much abuse here, I can't take it anymore. Where are the human resources? It's unbearable here. Now in another area, they fell to the floor. I think they fainted. I don't know. They don't even know how to act because they don't know how to revive someone. They don't know if the person died or not. We're very nervous because we don't know where we are. My love, do you want me to give this to a journalist? Give it to them because this has to come out one way or another because they're going to kill us here little by little. No one pays attention to us. I've been here for 30 days seeing injustice and mistreatment. It doesn't stop. Look, listen. Noise from inside. This is turning into chaos here because they have no control. They don't know how to work with prisoners or detainees. And supposedly we're not detainees, not even prisoners. They abuse us in every way, with the food and the bathroom, everything, everything. We have no rights here to anything, no humanitarian resources, nothing. We have no rights to anything. They treat us badly and inhumanely. We don't feel well. This is too much. And with the Cubans, it's even worse. With us Cubans, it's even worse. Oh, my love, I'm going to put this on the news. I don't know, my love. This is really bad. Send a kiss to my mother. Tell her everything is fine with me. But here, listen. This is really bad, my love. They're mistreating human beings here. There's mistreatment of humans, understand? Mistreatment, abuse of power, racism. All of this is happening here. This is the harshest thing happening here. They're treating us like we're the worst in the world, and we're not. It's them. It's the security guards, the DOC. They're all here abusing the power they have. They're all abusing their power. They're abusing us. They have us pinned to the floor. They're tearing us apart. They treat us like beasts, but they are the beasts. We are free men. They took our freedom because of a man who took us under this country's law for nothing. Because Fidel separated us from our family, and we've already paid for a past cause. What they're doing to us is an injustice. To be mistreated by other men. And there are many gay men here. The women are men and the men are women. We have to shower with them because they're gay. This is really bad inside here. This is really bad. I don't understand what's happening. This is really bad. Do what you have to do because this is really bad here. It's unbearable. Do what you can. Tell my mom I'm fine, but she should stay calm. This is really bad here. Here we're all human beings but cornered because they're out there threatening us with force, shouting. They're driving us crazy. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going to happen. This morning there was a fight and they came in. They're mistreating us so much. They're mistreating us with the food, now with us too. I witnessed it physically here. Let them check the cameras. Let someone important come in here to see the mistreatment and abuse. They had this boy pinned to the floor. We were all against the wall, all of us. We were all handcuffed and couldn't do anything because there are like 200 of them, understand? And we're talking about 18, 20, and they still abused them. Those 3 guys were handcuffed. Like 7 or 8 people jumped on them, stepped on their heads with their feet, rolled them on the floor, dragged them. That's what's happening to these 3 guys. They abused these 3 boys. Rather, guys. Oh my God. Then control got involved. Security. The security they put here. They're some kind of jackasses. They're not normal people. They see us as criminals, and we're not. And even if we were, and we've paid for it. Here there are many that have no record, have never been prisoners, and they treat us all like shit.
So in the interest of time, I got to cut out of that, but the full video is up. We posted it this morning. It's about 5.5 minutes. And the link to the original call, which was in Spanish, is in the description of that video if you want to listen to it in Spanish. But I'm hearing, there's a lot of talk about Guantanamo in America before Obama. Obama said he was going to shut it down. That didn't happen. Still open. A lot of the shit that's happening there sounds like Guantanamo.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. I don't know if there's, as of now, we don't believe there's waterboarding and things like that, but there sure seems to be beatings, groping of prisoners, and who knows what else.
Yeah. That's the only comparison that I've been able to draw to this. It's Guantanamo here. I don't know, what else you would compare it to. The whole situation is horrible. When I reached out to ICE earlier, I was just asking for them to confirm Velasquez's condition. That's it. I didn't ask any other questions. I was in a rush. I just wanted to find confirmation from someone, assuming that I would get nothing from them, obviously. But, doing my due diligence, trying to figure out what had happened to this man, if he was alive, if he was not. Only question I asked from them. And the response that I got back from Trisha McLaughlin was, she prefaced the response by saying that Velasquez is a criminal illegal alien with a rap sheet that includes an arrest for robbery in Miami, and then went on to say that they took him to the hospital. And my question back to them was, can you clarify why you felt the need to preface your response with that? Like, why is that pertinent information to include here? I don't know why it would be. Clearly it is not. Clearly we know why they're including it, but it would be nice to have them state something on record about it. But I bring that up because in the audio, the, detained man was saying that some of us have committed crimes, but we've done our time for it. We have all done our time. Like, these are people who either, if they have some criminal record, I mean, they serve time for it. Why are people being punished twice? So
Basically, so we could have an other to keep us divided, stoke up a lot of hard right conservatives in this country who have been hoodwinked into thinking immigrants are responsible for changing demographics, changing culture in the country, their jobs going away, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's just classic throughout history. Find another, demonize the other, and distract the masses. And that's what's going on. I hate to say it. I mean, obviously we want to cover other things, but this story, there's something new each day, so that's why we're staying on it. And to me, it's bigger than just a story about immigration. I think it's really a story about humanity. I mean, that's why I stayed on Flint for so long, because it was about more than just water. It was about poisoning a community, the government poisoning a city, covering it up and leaving them to die. And this is not only about immigration. You could have there are legitimate debates to have about immigration, how many immigrants, refugees should be allowed into a country, debate away. But to create these medieval times level camps, I mean, some people you interviewed compared it to the Japanese internment camps that, by the way, are a boondoggle that Florida taxpayers are paying for, not the federal government. Florida's taxpayer. If you're watching from Florida, you're going to end up paying for this. Don't listen to DeSantis. It's going to show up in your property taxes and other ways, all as a distraction to the fact that we live in a new Gilded Age, that the government is scamming its own citizens, cutting crucial government services for working people, for poor people, all to give yacht owners another yacht. I mean, it's just vile. I got to go, but Ashley, just give a quick preview. You have a story coming out on the broader timeline of this family, having no choice but to think that their loved one had died.
Yeah. So I've been working on that today, trying to get more information essentially on what happened here, what led to, this family thinking for an entire day that their loved one was dead. So I've been intermittently speaking with his sister, and I spoke with his attorney. So we'll have more information on as much of this as we can report out. So yeah, that's what this is on. There's other Alligator Alcatraz related threads that I've been pulling, so we should have more information on other aspects of this hopefully over the next few days. Again, it's like part of the difficulty in covering this has been that there is no accountability, there's no record, there's no anything, and that's by design, right? They don't want anyone to know what's happening here. They don't want anyone to know how many people are here. They don't want to report on medical incidents. They don't want to report on deaths that, who knows, right? Like we don't know how many deaths, if any, have occurred at this facility. We just have no idea what's happening here. And it's just been like, as I think you said earlier, getting any kind of information is a frustrating game of telephone, essentially. Yep. If you can even verify anything. And again, I say that only to stress that, like, that is the point. The point is for no one to know what's happening here. We don't even know who runs this facility. That was part of what the hearing was on yesterday. And, they were supposed to have a deadline today to basically give information, the government was, about who runs the facility. Is it the state? Is it the federal government? They keep pointing the finger at each other because nobody wants to be held accountable for what's happening in here. And they don't want to have to abide by any kind of standards. So it's just like the whole thing is a mess. So yeah, we have been covering as much of it as possible. There will be at least a short write-up on what happened with this poor family, hopefully today or early tomorrow.
On a brighter note, welcome new member Nomad signed up. Appreciate it. Angel, super chat, $5, Status Coup News. This is what real journalism looks like. Thank you for all you do and keep up the good work. Again, I'm not beyond begging. Please sign up as a paying member. We can't print money out of our backyards. You are what funds the investigative and on-the-ground reporting. You fund Ashley, myself, Colin, John. We're trying to hire more people. Might have some news on that very soon. So please support us. If you're not a member yet, statuscoup.com/join, and look out for our Substack, which you could join for free, which you could sign up for free. What is that, Colin? I keep forgetting. What is that? statuscoup.substack.com.
Yes, StatusCoupSubstack.com. I have it right here. There's.
There you go. All right, folks. We'll talk to you in a bit.
Bye.